guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be starting a new series on my channel about top 5 products. Top 5. Today's going to be neutral eyeshadow palettes. We may do top 5 favorite foundations, top 5 concealers, etc, etc. You get the gist. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about my top 5, and it's actually more like 7 or 8 favorite eyeshadow palettes. Favorite neutral eyeshadow palettes. So if you are a neutral loving girl, if you love your browns, your warm browns, your cool tones, but all in like the neutral realm of things, then I think you'll really enjoy this video. Definitely leave me a comment below and let me know what your favorite neutral palettes are, because hello, we can never have enough neutral palettes, right? That being said, if you guys are interested in hearing about my top favorite neutral eyeshadow palettes, then just keep watching. Okay, so I really wanted to make sure that I was recommending palettes that were not limited edition, that you can still get your hands on, but I have 2 honorable mention eyeshadow palettes that are limited edition. I believe you can still get this one. This is the Love, Trust, and Fairy Dust eyeshadow palette from Tarte. This is what the inside looks like, and as you can see, it is a very muted sort of neutral palette. You have like your typical transition crease color right up here, and then like your dark brown, but then you also have these really beautiful neutral mauve tone shades, and then some really beautiful shimmers. I know, let me swatch a couple of these shimmers for you guys. I know I need to like step up my YouTube game next year as far as like including like swatches and stuff in my videos. Here are a couple of my favorite shimmers out of the palette. So the shimmers do, oh no, ooh, the shimmers are very soft, so you need to be careful. The shimmers do pack a punch though, and I've created some really beautiful eye looks out of this. When I first bought this, I was super skeptical, but I actually have this going in my Project Roulette pan right now, and I've been getting a ton of use out of it and loving all of the looks that I have been coming up with. So I know you can still get your hands on this right now. I don't know for how long, but I do really love this eyeshadow palette and would definitely recommend this one. My favorite neutral eyeshadow palette of all time, and I know you can't get your hands on it, but I just wanted to mention it for those of you who do have this one. It is the Mario ABH palette. I almost didn't buy this palette, you guys, and I am so freaking thankful that I decided to. You have basically my 3 favorite colors of all time right here. I love that this mixes some cool tones as well as some warm tones. I love all the shimmers in this. I think it's such a good range of shimmers, and I love that they threw in the green and the blue. So this is just such a beautiful palette. I am obsessed. This may be my favorite palette in my entire collection, so sorry to those of you who didn't get this, but if you have this, yeah, just such a phenomenal neutral palette. So beautiful, such a great formula, absolutely die for it. Okay, so jumping into the palettes that you can still get your hands on, these aren't limited edition. I actually have 6 palettes to recommend to you guys. The first one is the Huda Beauty Warm Brown Obsessions palette. I would also recommend the smoky one as well as the mauve tone one if you're looking for like neutrals. I love the Huda Obsessions palette. So this is what Warm Brown Obsessions looks like. You can get some very beautiful warm brown neutral looks out of this. I love that it still offers one shimmer up here. This gold is to die for. Super pigmented, just a nice beautiful coppery gold. Love this. I have loved every single look that I have created with this. I think the only shade that I haven't used out of this palette is this pink toned one up here, which I feel like fits more in line with the Coral Obsessions palette, but you know what? It's fine. It's there. I really do love this palette. Such a good neutral palette. These are so easy to travel with, you guys, and it still offers such a range of looks that you can create from this. So if you haven't checked this palette out, I would highly recommend, especially if you love warms and neutrals. Next up, I wanted to talk about the Colourpop Dream Street palette. Now this is, again, sort of like a warm toned neutral palette, but what I love about this one is that it still offers a little bit of a variety for pops of colors. You have your beautiful blues in here, and then you have this pop of like a bright peachy pink. So while you can create beautiful neutral looks with this, if you're looking to jazz up your look with a little bit of color, this palette still offers that. So I mostly just use this for neutral looks. In fact, I don't think I've ever even touched either of these blues, which is a shame. I need to play around with those, but I love this palette for neutral looks. I think it's a really great neutral palette. I love the Colourpop pressed pigments. I think they are some of the best, most affordable on the market, so you really can't beat the quality for the price. So would highly recommend checking this out. I thought this was limited edition, but I know you can still get this. I don't know if it's permanent to their line or if it's still technically limited edition, but would definitely recommend getting your hands on this while you can, because it is a great palette. And next up, I actually don't know if you can still get this, so I'm sorry if you can't and I'm recommending this, but this is one of my tried and true favorite neutral palettes. And this is the Ciate Pretty Fun and Fearless palette that was in collaboration with Chloe Morello. They've done two. This is the first one. This is what mine looks like. As you can tell, it's super well loved, super beat up. And what I love about this palette is it offers like your warm toned browns, like your neutral browns, which love to have, but then it also offers like that mauve toned sort of neutral mauve toned look, the purples and stuff. And then you have this beautiful like midnight blue shimmer, which, okay, that wasn't a clean finger. Honestly, okay, that's not swatching the best. I haven't played around with this one, but it does offer some very interesting shimmer shades. There's this smoky gray one, and honestly, I need to clean my hands off before I keep swatching these and ruining them. But it offers like a variety of different sort of shimmers, but then you still get your golds, your champagnes to pop in with those neutral like matte browns. So really love this palette as well. I'm sorry if this is limited edition and I included it in this, but if you can get your hands on this, I would highly recommend. I think it is a really, really great neutral palette that again offers like two sort of ranges of neutrals. Again, you get those browns, but then you also get those mauve tones as well. Next up, this is one of my all-time favorite palettes. It's the Tartelette in Bloom palette, and this was one of my first palettes. I love this palette so much. So what I really enjoy about this palette is, first of all, it's very user-friendly. If you have a tough time coming up with makeup looks, you can basically just create your look by row, which is amazing. I mean, obviously you can mix and match if you want to. It offers a cool toned row, and then it offers two more warm toned rows. I love that it offers sort of like your pinks and your maroons too, because I really like those colors as neutrals. I don't know, I'm like a sucker for like that brick red sort of shade. But again, it offers like your very neutral, like sort of just transition shades that you can use alone in your crease, or again, you can pop in some of these darker shades to just deepen up the look and create a very beautiful neutral look. It also offers some shimmers to jazz it up if you want, you know, a more glam look, but absolutely love this palette. I feel like I need to replace this one. This is probably almost 2 years old, and I feel like I just need to bite the bullet and buy another one because I love this palette and I always want to have this in my collection. I feel like the quality on mine is kind of degrading just a little bit, so I probably need to just pick up another one of these. So I am actually shocked to be including this, or if you would have asked me if I would have included this in this video a couple months ago, I would have said no, because I actually did not really love this palette when I first started using it. I have a video of a 1 month, one palette, and then I came back to review this and said I wasn't that impressed by this shadow. And while I still am not that impressed by some of the shimmers in this palette, I do really love the matte shades that you get in here. You can create very beautiful neutral looks. Again, I'm sure you can find these shades in all of the other palettes that I'm recommending, but this is the Zoeva Cocoa Blend palette, and this has been like my everyday go-to palette to create work looks. I usually just pop this shade right here into the crease, deepen it up with this in the V. If I'm looking for like a more intense look, I'll go in with this dark shade up here, which is like, it's a really dark chocolatey brown. It's not a black, and I'll use that to deepen up the crease even further. And then sometimes I'll pop like this shimmer on the crease, or this shimmer right here if I really want to glam up the look. I don't think that this sweeter end shade just did not impress me very much, and also this warm notes needs a lot of building up if you want a really high intensity look. The reason I like this subtle blend is because it really is like a subtle shade that just kind of like makes you look like you have like a super smoky look when you put it all over the lid, kind of like super like sensual looking eyes. So I love that shade for that, but I think some of the shimmers in here are just kind of duds, but I do like this palette for the mattes and then those couple shimmers that I mentioned. I believe it's what are these, like 27, 26 bucks, and then I think I paid $9 shipping, so $35 for this palette. I kind of want to try another Zoeva palette just to see if I like the shimmers in that one better. I just was not that impressed with their shimmers, but the mattes I do really like, and this is one that I would recommend as a nice neutral palette. Easy for every day. I open this palette up, I know exactly what I'm doing. There's not much thought behind it, which is something that I really appreciated about it. So yeah, this is the Zoeva Cocoa Bun palette. And then the last palette I have to recommend to you guys is, of course, another ABH palette. This is the Soft Glam palette. I love this palette, you guys. This is like a neutral, warm tone lover's dream. I am obsessed with just about every shade in here. I think I've also used just about every shade in here. I like that you get like your little mauve tones and your pinks sprinkled in. I love that you get your cranberry shade, or your like cranberry mixed with like brick red. I just love the dark, deep red shades. You have, you know, your typical browns down here, warm browns, but you also have this beautiful sienna shade that I feel like is a little bit unique to some of the other neutral palettes out there. And then I just love the shimmers in here. I love rose pink, I love sultry, bronze. They're all so good. So if I were to recommend, if you were only going to choose one of the palettes that I would recommend, it would either be between the ABH Soft Glam or probably the Tarte Light and Bloom would be my like top two. But obviously I love every single neutral palette that I just recommended to you guys. Those are my top 6 neutral palettes that I would recommend to you guys, plus those 2 limited editions. Like I said in the beginning, you guys will have to let me know what some of your favorite neutral palettes are. I love hearing your guys' recommendations. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, don't forget to do so before you go, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye!